Karen, look upstairs, see Fred Smith. Bring it down for him. Because I may need him in here. Just
you should be seeing something now.
Amber, you seen anything now?
For the stream.
Stream?
It's still the sitting of the Senate.
It's not the Senate.
Senate?
No, it should be the Senate. It shouldn't be saying that. Go to your go to and look at your 360 and see if you see any stream there. It shouldn't be saying 16 of the Senate.
Fred Smith? Robert Clark, Fred Smith. Cell phones up.
Okay, we're going into the top of the hour.
All right.
Don't talk to me through the board.
I hear the sound.
This is Bobby Bloom. Montego Bay is in Jamaica, West Indies, which is in the Caribbean. And it has a certain peacefulness that makes it kind of stick in your mind. It's the kind of a place that kind of makes you write songs about it.
Indeed. We are coming to you live from Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica. So the song is absolutely correct. It's a type of place that you want to come back to over and over again. This is the fact of the matter heard here every Sunday night from 8 to 9. Tonight we are on extended time from 8 to 10. And in fact, we're broadcasting for you right now from the S Hotel on the famous hip strip now called, what is it called again, Bobby? It is called the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard right here in downtown Montego Bay. And I just want to say good evening to our listeners and to thank those who are listening to the previous show just now, Groovin Radio. Thank you for your presentation. And for the next 2 hours, we'll be bringing you information right here from the shores of Montego Bay. First, let me say good evening to all our listeners and to thank you for staying with us here on Irie Jam. And we also you can view us too on Irie Jam 360. It's a good time to download your app, Irie Jam 360, to get a feel for what we're doing here and where we are in a few moments. Again, follow us on IrieJamRadio.com, also on our website. Visit us there and see what's going on our platforms. Now, I must tell you that today's program is brought to you courtesy of Home Smart Realty. We thank them for their support over there, Home Smart Realty. For all your real estate purchasing, selling, and financing, also Home Smart provides you an opportunity to become a member of the Home Smart family of realtors. Call them at 718-341-9800. Also, Caribbean Immigrant Services, your one-stop empowerment center for all your immigration needs, U.S. citizenship, adjustment of status, alien cards renewal, counseling. You're true advocates for the community and unblemished record of service. Give them a call today and empower yourself. 718 523-2861. We also want to tell you, too, that on behalf of the management of Irie Jam Media, we are indeed honored to be doing this live broadcast as part of Team Jamaica's Bickle's mission here to Montego Bay. On Tuesday of this week, Team Jamaica Bickle will be presenting some 20 defibrillators to schools here in the western section of Jamaica. I want to take time out to thank all those who made it possible. Special mention, of course, goes to Neville and Joan Flowers, who this weekend, right here in Montego Bay, I understand, celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. I want to thank the Flowers for their contribution. To the ladies who rock over there at New York Life, Wendy Edwards and her team for their contribution. For John Jay, Jamaican Organization of New Jersey, for their contribution. We thank you. Barbara Richards, thank you very much for your contribution. And all those who are making these defibrillators available for schools here in Jamaica possible. We also have here, as part of the team in Jamaica, nurses Dolores McGregor and nurses Sharon Thompson Douglas, who will be performing the training on Tuesday. Well, before we start, let's get to some issues that are of pressing concerns to us in the diaspora, and that has to do with President Trump's missive or edict as it relates to Homeland Security and ICE, Immigration, Customs and Enforcement. Today, we'll begin rounding up individuals with deportation orders. I should have online with me now Lester. Lester, are you on?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Thanks for joining me, Lester. I know that you are indeed not a happy camper. You're there. I'm here. I'm a happy camper, and but someone has to hold the fort down, and you do it better than anybody else. All right.
Okay.
All right. Now, before I start on this ICE situation, just to put it in perspective. Understand what's taking place here, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, by no means are we condoning the fact that there are persons who have violated immigration rules in the United States, have gone through the system, and are now faced with deportation orders. Those are removable offenses. Those are situations that the persons must be apprehended if they have not turned themselves in and removed. We have no problems with that. However, that is, in my mind, not the real missive here. What's going on here is President Trump providing additional ammunition to feed his base, to show how strong he is on immigration. Because my concern has to do with the collateral damage. What happens when ICE comes into a place and you are there, whom, not the person they're looking for, and you're now caught up in the system? And as you know, how immigration, customs and immigration officers have been emboldened. Many have gone off the plantation and doing ridiculous stuff. But Lester, let me ask you, because you're home side, have you heard anything happening within our community today as it relates to these ICE raids as was announced?
Okay. Mayor de Blasio said this morning that he knew that there were some ICE operation that took place yesterday in New York, in Sunset Park in Brooklyn, and in another area. Nobody was taken into custody, as far as the mayor reports, but yes, the ICE operation started yesterday. Mm-hmm. I was on White Plains Road yesterday, and I must say that it's a long time I've not seen White Plains Road as scanty as it was yesterday. And it's not because I think people are not straight. I think it's just the whole fear factor.
Yes.
Why people just decided, it's better to keep out of the way and not be out there rather than anything else.
Right.
And I think this is where the issue comes in for me. It's just the fear, the spread of fear by the announcement and by the operations that are being carried out. If you have a removal order, by all means, you should be removed. Obviously, it means that you've committed an offense that you are found guilty of, that the federal court decided that you should not stay here any longer and you should go. And therefore, yes, remove those people. But there are people who have not committed any offense, people who are who maybe out there who are green card holders but don't have their green card on them, and they could be caught up in the system, and they could be taken into ICE custody, and it will cost them a lot of money by legal fee to have all of this straightened out. So yes, there are that kind of fear that's going on right now in terms of it. Now, the other question that I'm hearing people are saying, the communities that are being targeted are communities of color.
Correct.
Which are Spanish and
Caribbean and African American and African, yes.
And Africans and all of that.
Yes.
So the question being asked is, what about the Eastern Europeans who are here illegally?
All right. Stick a pin right there, because you see, you got to understand what's going on here. Immigration, and it is right now, is a wedge issue. And what is taking place here is that it's immigrants of color that our president has always been caught up in. All right, because if you notice his Twitter rampage today, dealt with the Congresswomen whom are at odds with Congresswoman Pelosi. And he's basically telling these women of color, because in his mind they're all immigrants, and his definition of immigrants are persons of color, period, that they should go back home. All right, so you can understand where his mindset is. He has never addressed the fact that, yes, there are Jews in the United States who are undocumented. Yes, there are Irish in the United States who are undocumented. And yes, there are even folks from the country where his wife's parents are undocumented. And let's not forget, his in-laws just became citizens recently. And I dare say that if they were probably faced with the same tests that we all had to go through, they probably would not make it. And that's a fact.
You know, Erwin, I think part of the problem, right, is that immigration is always looked upon as people who are coming across the border, people who are coming from the southern border, people who are of a certain ilk, color, okay, and that's not necessarily the case, because there are people who have come in through the airports who have overstayed. And they are out of status. And a lot of these are Eastern Europeans. Some are Jewish, and some are Irish. And we don't hear that these people are also being targeted for removal.
Right.
Now, the bottom line is that is it that immigration has become a racial issue? Or is it that you're really serious about using to remove the people who have committed offenses against in the U.S.?
All right.
And I think there has to be some explanation. Now, the important thing about the president's remarks in terms of the four Congresswomen, 3 of them are born here. You know, they're not people who come in and became legalized citizens and run for Congress. Only one of the 4 is like that. Only one. Right? The other 3 are all American-born citizens.
Well, Lester, tell you what, we're in Montego Bay. All right, we're in Montego Bay, and we felt it was necessary that we give some clarity, some information on the whole aspect of this whole ICE situation. And the fact is that, we must realize that we as a community also have a responsibility. We can continue to blame the government, blame the president, but we also have a responsibility. And that responsibility is that we must recognize that rules and regulations are there to be followed. Understood that there are some people do no cause of their own finds themselves in situations like these. My concern is that if you right now have any kind of immigration issue, make sure you know who your lawyer is. Right? You should have a lawyer. That's one. Number 2, if the person's come knocking at your door, there's a lot of information out there right now as to what you should do. I always say this to my community, and I make no apologies about this. We're always upfront in everybody else's business. We know what's going on. It's time for you to find out and go do the research and find out what it is that you must be doing to safeguard yourself in these situations. And I'm not being outrageous in this commentary here. I'm just saying that we need to be responsible for our situations as well. All right? So
Erwin, you know, the dilemma of our community is the Jewish community takes care of its of the people. The Irish community takes care of their people. The Eastern European blocs take care of their people. We don't seem to put in place the same kinds of organizations.
Right. And that's you're absolutely correct. And that's a subject that we're going to take another 2 hours and several weeks to discuss when we get back to New York. Right now, I can hear the waves in the background. I know that there are people outside enjoying themselves. You are not here. I'm here. I wanna start enjoying it as well, as I try to create images here for those in the diaspora who may not have been to Montego in a long time. What it's all about here. We have heard all the negatives, we have heard all the scourges, and yes, there are challenges, but people live here, work here, and life goes on here. So Lester, thanks very much. I'll probably catch you in the second hour, but I'll keep it going from this side, all right? And thank you much.
Okay.
All right. So we're back here in Montego Bay, and had to take time out to do that, ladies and gentlemen, because as you know, on the fact of the matter, we provide you information of pertinence, information that causes you to action. That's what we do on Irie Jam's Fact of the Matter on a Sunday night. I must also thank Sunday Evening Praise won't be heard this afternoon for their time that we'll be utilizing as we broadcast live from the S Hotel in Montego Bay. Well, I'm privileged and pleased to be in the presence right now, because if you're in Montego Bay, the capital city of tourism in the whole Caribbean, some people say the world, I'm here with the manager of visitor relations, the Department of the Jamaica Tourist Board, and I must take time out and welcome Miss Andrea Savizan.
Pleasure being here.
Great, good.
Pleasure being here.
I should tell you, welcome to the Fact of the Matter, but then you'd say what? Welcome to Jamaica. Right?
Welcome to Jamaica. Happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. We are indeed honored to be here. We serve as a platform that provides information to our diaspora, information, as I said, that causes to action. And here in Montego Bay, the home of some of Jamaica's largest tourism investments, also the several other businesses, but primarily talking about tourism right now. Share with us, give us an update where we are. You know, it's the beginning of the summer season, so usually it's considered slow season. But I come into Montego Bay, and Montego Bay seems crowded.
Well, at this time of the year, yes, we're approaching summer, and of course, the winter season is usually the heights of, the traffic into the destination. But of course, the kickoff party today was for Sumfest.
Right.
So of course, I just had that, was there this morning.
And we're going to come back to that in a minute.
Right,
yes.
So that, this is a staple product for the destination and for tourism in general, Sumfest, Reggae Sumfest. So this time of year, heading into summer, you will definitely see the traffic because, of course, Sumfest pulls thousands of visitors to the island from all over the world.
So it is safe to say that rooms are a scarcity here in Montego Bay.
All booked out because persons would have made their reservations months, maybe from last year, because it's an annual festival. This is the 27th year. Persons look forward to it every year, and every year it grows. And of course, this year is a special year, having the performance of Buju Banton, Berrysham, and Chronics sharing the stage at Reggae Sumfest, plus
on the same
other not on the same night, but across those two large days, the 19th and the 20th. So that, of course, would have pulled a lot of traffic into this part of the year.
No, the JTB at this particular time in their development, in their outreach, I would say have found themselves with some very, some people call it challenges, but in your case it's opportunities. That the numbers have been spiking up.
Definitely.
Talk to us about that.
Well, last year we welcome over 4 million, about 4.2 million visitors to the island. Just last month we amassed over 2 million, so it looks as if we will surpass what the numbers were for last year. Of course, a very important part of that is our repeat visitor, which accounts for over 20%. So it means that there is something about Jamaica that keeps people coming back.
And that's the point I want to touch with you. We hear that all the time, right? Let me hear from your perspective. What is it that keeps people coming back to Jamaica from your perspective?
Erwin, I'm Jamaican, and sometimes when I reflect on we are as a people, our landscape, our culture, our warmth, our energy, the talent, it's just our culture, our heritage, our story.
And the food.
The food, the music. We are just the best at everything. I get goose pimples just talking about Jamaica, and I live here.
Right.
It is just not an experience that I come to visit and leave and wow, this is a memorable experience. You know, sometimes after you repeat function or activity, you get diminishing return. Is like every day you wake up as a Jamaican and like, wow, God really had something special in mind when he thought
of course, those who are the tourism purveyors too are also stepping up the game, because you said something here in that the repeat visitors, obviously they come back for more of the same, but at the same time with the expectation of better.
Of better, because of course the room stocks, we keep increasing that. A number of hotels would have come into the destination annually. The attractions, there's always additional attractions, different variations. And the thing with Jamaica, I must mention, is that when you go in other destinations, maybe you have one fundamental thing that really grabs people to that destination. But then Jamaica is like a one-stop shop for so many
a multiplicity of stuff.
Exactly.
No, stick up in there. And you say that. And when we look at the menu of attractions now, all right? And Montego Bay finds itself probably in the epicenter of that. Tell us, what are some of the attractions here? Like, for example, we come to a hotel and people don't necessarily want to go into the all-inclusive, and nothing against the all-inclusive, but they want the experience. What are some of the things out there that Montego Bay has to offer?
Well, definitely we can do the tour of and I must say that Ocho-Rios, we have 6 resort areas. Ocho-Rios, Montego Bay, Port Antonio, Negril, the South Side, and of course Kingston, which is at the corporate for corporate tourism. Montego Bay may have the majority of the room stock, but not necessarily the most attractions. We'll find that in Ochi, but of course it doesn't matter where you're staying, because you can have your tour operator and your agent just organize those kind of activities for you that will take you all across Jamaica to do the tours, to do the river rafting. If you're into nature, you can. If you're into heritage tourism, sport tourism, so you can tour the Great House. You go for dining, the jerk chicken, the curry, the whatever, because gastronomy is another big thing that drives people into the destination for unique food and beverages and rum and all of that. It's just almost anything that interests a visitor, whether it's music, whether it's food, whether it's nature, whether it's the cultural part. You want to go and see the great houses, you want to see the stories behind some of these experiences from how we have evolved coming out of slavery into our being as an independent nation. It's all captured and there for you to come. If you just want to relax, you want to go into the Port Antonio, close to nature, the river, fresh water, a lot of greenery. Negril, the capital of casual tourism. You want to go into Kingston, you want to know how things work here, you might have business interests, you want to get in connection with the corporate part, the business part of what we do here as a people. And then Mobe, the capital of tourism, of course, the capital of tourism for the world, is right here with everything.
Let me ask this, because you see, Montego Bay finds itself with a lot of the major tourist brands and stuff.
Right.
How does the people aspect of Montego Bay benefit from tourism? What would you say are the benefits for the Montegonians, not just as employees, but how do they factor into the food chain?
Well, as the destination develops, as the destination grows, as the Ministry of Tourism, and of course the board and TPDCO, all the related agencies, as we come together and do all the necessary work and all the necessary investment and development, when we take care of the tourists, it's when we take care of the people take care of the tourists, and when we take care of the tourists, then the people automatically benefit in that regard. So as we improve security to protect the destination, the people automatically benefit. As we improve health care to ensure that a visitor doesn't come here and have any adverse medical situation that was not addressed properly, the people automatically benefit. Okay. Everything we do is like they're working simultaneously. And as the hotel stock increases, more employment in different areas. Persons
and of course, we also have to
promoted.
Right. And we also have the whole situation of transportation, food,
housing, development, because people want to move into the destination as the destination grows. So you might be coming out of a rural community where it is challenging with a lot of social amenities, but because of what is happening in the destination, then it brings you more into the urban lifestyle.
Right.
So there's an evolution simultaneously going on as the destination
grows.
improves.
All right. No, of course, we're coming to a break here now, but Andrea, I just want to say on behalf of Irie Jam 360, and it's a message to JTB, to your bosses and stuff, that we're a platform that reaches into the diaspora, providing information of pertinence, and one of the things that we look forward to is to see how we can become more effective in carrying out the message, not just from a public release perspective, but from how we organize and work in a strategic way. So I just want to say thank you very much for participating with us this evening. We look forward to Montego Bay for the next week or so, because we have some other actions and transactions that are taking place here. And we look forward to the tourism product growing from strength to strength.
Well, definitely, it is poised for continuous growth. And of course, we have not just a minister of tourism for Jamaica. Jamaica really housed the Minister of Tourism for the world. The board, the directors has been doing amazing stuff there, has been transformational, and we're just really, really poised for a lot of great things.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Andrea Savion.
Thanks for having me.
All the best. And there you have it. Talking to a representative from the Jamaica Tourist Board. Of course, when next week the opportunity comes that we speak to the minister, we're talking policies, because we still have to make sure that the average person on the street also is a participant in the entrepreneurial food chain in tourism, the lifeblood of Jamaica. We're going to take a commercial break now. When we come back, we hope to be talking to some very, very important persons who, and in fact, it was whispered to me that who knows, might even chat briefly with the minister. But we're going to take a commercial break now, so we throw it back to Master Control. When we come back, we'll continue the dialogue right here in Kingston from the S Hotel in Montego Bay. This is Erwin Clare, and you're listening to The Fact of the Matter.
Hey family, word on the street is that this year's Grace Jamaican Jerk Festival is the event everyone is rolling out to. Sunday, July 21st at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. Come feast on delicious Caribbean cuisine, enjoy the cultural vibe, and sizzle to the music.
Well, it's fireman. We kept our clothes on.
The big deal, Chris Martin.
Big deal. Oh Lord, don't let me cheat on my girl.
All right, so Fred, after Ed, I'll probably talk to you. Right, depending on time. I'll probably come back, I'll finish off all with you. I'll finish it. Yes, you're right there. Pinch it. I know.
the Grace Jamaican Jerk Festival, Sunday, July 21st at Roy Wilkins Park. For details, visit jerkfestivalny.com.
When financing your home, you need an expert in the mortgage field working for you. Someone who has low rates and fees. One company with one number gives it all to you. That's Canyon Mortgage. At Canyon, they specialize in one thing, giving you the best home loan at the best price for your situation. They are New York's trusted mortgage specialists. Whether you are buying a home or refinancing, and with their expertise with low rates, they excel at saving you money. So call Canyon Mortgage today at 718-792-3333. That's 718-792-3333. Specializing in one thing, and that's the best home loan at the right price with low rates. Call today before rates rise. Learn more by calling Canyon Mortgage at 718-792-3333 or visit CanyonMortgageCorp.com. That's CanyonMTGCorp.com. Canyon Mortgage Corporation, licensed by New York State Banking Department. Canyon Mortgage, call them today. Canyon Mortgage Corp, located at 204-21 Jamaica Avenue, Hollis, New York, 11423. Registered mortgage broker, New York State Department of Financial Services. All loans arranged through third-party provider and equal housing opportunity. MLS 28873.
It's the summertime, so enjoy a family day in the park when Sheldon Evans Ministries and Vigor Alkaline Water presents Gospel Barbecue and Praise in the Park, a family day. Sunday, July 28th. It's a day featuring Caribbean and American gospel artists like Prodigal Son, Natalie Evans,
If you know that your God has been good to you, sing.
and Shirley Willis, two former Grace Thrillers. Also performing James Fortu, Christina Holloway, O'Dane Rodan, with host Pastor Sheldon for his birthday celebration. Liz Black from WLIB and WBLS. DJ Roy, music by DJ Mark, and Dubmaster Chris from Irie Jam Radio. Gospel Barbecue and Praise, Sunday, July 28th at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone, bounce house, face painting, and more from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. Stage time, 2 p.m. sharp. For tickets and info, call 866-799-7271. Sunday, July 28th. Don't miss it.
You ever check out the Golden Crust store on Picking Avenue in Brooklyn? Them have all the wonderful baked products that GK is known for. The patties, buns, cakes, and more. And the cooked food is excellent. Remember to ask about the daily chef specials. The soups, porridge, chicken, goat, oxtail, seafood, and fish specials. You name it, they have it. And it tastes nice. Plus, them have peanut punch, Irish moss, carrot, coconut water, sorrel, magnum, and more of the Caribbean's favorites and other juices and drinks. Golden Crust at 1655 Picking Avenue near Rockaway Avenue in Brooklyn, 718-342-7576. Catering and delivering services are also available. We're little, but with Talawa. GoldenCrustBakery.com or 1-800-OK-Crust.
This is a celebration. Come join the Culture Jam family as we celebrate our 21st anniversary on Saturday, August 17th. Inside Club Dubai. It's been 21 years. Come join us. If you've been listening, we want to see you there. Club Dubai, 125-19 Merritt Boulevard in Queens. Music by Chris the Dubman and Road International. This is a celebration. We'll be celebrating the birthday of Jeff Sarge, Chris Green, and Mona Lee. It's been 21 years. Come join Bobby Channel 1 and the entire family on Saturday, August 17th, inside Club Dubai. It's been 21 years. Come join us, Bobby Channel 1 and the entire family, Jeff Saw, Chris Green, and Mona Lee, as we celebrate Culture Jam's 21st anniversary. Music by Road International, Chris the Dubman, Club Dubai, 125-19 Merritt Boulevard in Queens. On Saturday, August 17th, because you are family, we want to see you there as we celebrate our 21st anniversary.
Parents, all parents, listen closely. Kids World is offering free childcare. Free childcare. The Kids World Early Childhood Center UPK program will provide free PK for all children turning 4, born in 2015, living in all 5 boroughs. Free for all children, regardless of income or living arrangements, and even if they're from another country. Space is limited. Call Kids World now. 718-528-9000. That's 718-528-9000. At Kids World, our curriculum nurtures the whole child and supports the child's social, emotional, and intellectual growth. Register now. now. 718-528-9000. Visit us at 12201 Guy Arbroa Boulevard, Jamaica, Queens. 1 block from Baisley Boulevard, Rochdale Village. Walk-in registration available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call Kids World now. Free childcare. 718-528-9000. 718-528-9000.
This summer belongs to Sumfest, presented by Caribbean Airlines. Sumfest is loading for the summer at Catherine Hall, Montego Bay, with our music and our festival. Saturday, July 20, Festival Night 2. It's Destiny as Buju Banton returns to Sumfest Day. So let's rock away Saturday night with Barris Hammond, Protege, Etana, Romaine Virgo, Christopher Martin, Dalton Harris, and Jana. Get your tickets in stores or online at reggaesumfest.com. Sponsored by Jamaica Tourist Board, Iberostar, Pepsi, Red Stripe, MasterCard, TVJ, Grace, Downtown Entertainment. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Allow myself to introduce myself. My name is
Irie Jam.
Straight from Bobby. Indeed. We're jamming actually right here on Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Montego Bay, the S Hotel. That's where the Fact of the Matter is being broadcast from live tonight. We want to say thanks to the management and staff here of this beautiful hotel. And for those who are retro, like old like me, will remember Breeze's Hotel here on the Hip Strip. That hotel that opens right onto Doctor's Cave Beach. Well, it has been refurbished. It has been brought back to life in the form of the S Hotel. One of the things I notice here in Jamaica now, they start naming hotels with letters like S and A and symbols and all that. So here's a new one on the landscape here, the S Hotel. I guess Prince must be saying, hey, I started something. But anyway, it's a beautiful hotel. It has been nicely done, just over 120 rooms. For those of you who may be considering getting married, it's a fantastic place to get married and watch the sunset, and whilst looking at the Caribbean Sea right here on Montego Bay's Hip Strip. So once again, thanks to the management and staff here, the S Hotel has been our hosts. Well, we're talking Montego Bay, and there are so many ways to speak on Montego Bay. Tonight we are looking from Montego Bay as a host city. We recognize all the challenges, for by no means do we put those aside. However, we also have to recognize too that people exist, live, work, and play here, and exist here on a daily basis, and we need to make sure that that story also gets out. We have had, and we will continue to report on issues germane to Montego Bay that have plagued havoc on the city. And those are subjects that, of course, we will cover here on The Fact of the Matter. But now we understand we have, some people will call him, yes, from an official Jamaican perspective, he's the Minister of Tourism here in Jamaica. But over the world, he's also considered a global brand himself and considered the Minister of Tourism globally. But today, he's the Minister of Tourism for Montego Bay. I'm only kidding. Only because he's a member of Parliament in this area as well. And I'm in his city. And in speaking to Bobby just now, I am disappointed. I am not seeing him. But he made every effort to call in or for us to reach him by telephone because, of course, he wanted to lay the carpet out for the Irie Jam team here in Montego Bay. Welcome, Minister Bartlett.
Thank you very much, Erwin, and it really is always a pleasure.
Same here.
To share, wave time with you, and particularly with the Jamaican diaspora in the New York tri-state area.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy you're in my city. I'm sorry I'm not there actually with you physically, but today's wonderful technology allows us to be present, even though absent in physical person. But we can be present in conversation. And if we're lucky, virtually we could be seeing each other and doing things together.
Without a doubt.
So when next you come, you bring that technology and in New York, people will be able to see me talking.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And Bobby Clark says, although you're not here, the check is open and the tab is yours.
The tab is mine, all right.
All right.
I'll tell him that he has an opportunity when I get to New York on the 10th of August.
To reciprocate, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, Minister,
I'll be there for that event. That I think it's in Queens, I believe.
No, it's up in is it Westchester? It's in Westchester County, and we're talking Westchester County, and we're talking about the gala where Kerry Washington will be an honoree, Right.
Absolutely correct.
Right. Minister, this is what I want to start off with, because this was an active subject in my chat rooms 2 weeks ago. And that had to do with the statement that was made by the president of Jamaica Tourism and Association, Mr. Omar Robinson, as he said that Airbnb folks should be taxed. And I tell you this, Minister, that it was that storyline trended a lot, especially in the diaspora, because as you know, many of us do have properties here in Jamaica that are now part of the whole Airbnb phenomena. And so it was pleasing to hear you say, Minister, that industry won't be taxed at this time. You care to expound on that, sir?
Well, to begin with, you know, Jamaica was the first country in this region and arguably in the world that really embraced the collaborative economy, or the so-called sharing economy. I actually went to their head office in California and met with them, and they began to use Jamaica, in fact, as a poster boy for a destination that understood what the technology was offering and how it was democratizing the ownership structure of the accommodation sector and changing the way in which people have access without the heavy capital that the average person has today. One of the things that we were very careful about is that this is the millennials' response to their requirements for a vacation, and an affordable vacation. So we felt that this was an opportunity for what we call inclusive tourism. And inclusive tourism is a discussion that Jamaica has led globally, to look at how do we make more of the ordinary people in the host countries benefit from the tourism value chain. And so we saw the sharing economy as demonstrated by Airbnb, and to some extent as part of that process of enabling a broader engagement in the tourism sector by the ordinary and average person in the community. So the discussions that we had led to, okay, how do we create some equity? How do we cause the established accommodation sector not to feel that they were being shortchanged, that they were required to be licensed, they were required to follow certain credential requirements, and they were also to pay tax. And this activity, which has become very substantial, would go scotch-free. But because of how this ownership structure was broad and varied, and the fact that Jamaica's Airbnb hosts were scattered all over the island in some of the most remote areas, it marveled so many of us that Trenchtown and Tivoli were very prominent places that, Pembroke Hall and so on were prominent places, as well as in Montego Bay and Cambridge and all the interior places. So we felt that this was something that we should look at. How can we get the Airbnb platform itself to be of greater value to us rather than going after the individual host? And so the discussions are now going on with ourselves and Airbnb towards a contribution that would be equivalent to what the guard is, but it would not be a tax. It would be treated as part of their contribution to our securing what we call destination assurance. Because you would appreciate that the integrity of our destination is very important to us. And it costs us to ensure that the safety, security, and seamlessness, which is an inherent part of the experience of the visitor, is secure.
Right.
There's no second guessing on our side as to the quality and integrity of the experience that we promise when we go in the market. And the only way to make sure that we can do that is if we build the infrastructure to enable it, and the infrastructure costs. So we are saying to them, contribute to that. And so in a way, you are contributing, and you then would make the established sector feel much more comfortable that there's equity all around.
All right, great. No,
there's a second element though that I must talk about.
Sure.
We've been able to also have an agreement with them, and this is our first MOU which the tourist board was able to craft and had agreed on with them to allow us to share in the data. So we could now begin to mine this powerful data bank that Airbnb has over 1 million, entries. That gives us a sense of market reach and intelligence that we never had before. I could never hope to have. So this will enable us to be more strategic in terms of where we go and be able to allocate our resources better, to manage and to measure the impact of our advertising and promotion, and then could also be able to determine where do you put your money. So the whole business of allocation, prioritization, right, measuring and managing your outcomes enable you now to be a better and more focused marketing machine in Jamaica.
All right. The voice we have online with us on the fact of the matter is the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism. I started there, Minister, because the area I want to touch on with you tonight has to do with, as this tourism product continues to spiral and gets higher and the benefits from it are increased. The question belies itself for persons in the diaspora listening right now, Minister. What are some of the areas from an entrepreneurial perspective that Jamaicans in the diaspora could get involved in?
We established 5 networks representing our mind the passions of people globally. Why do people travel? We ask the question, why do people travel? And people essentially travel to fulfill their passion. What are these passions? What are the broad areas that these passions encompass? And the first one is food. People travel for food, for gastronomy, for food experiences. Right? 88%, it is said, of the world travels for food experience. And that 42% of the expenditure of the visitor is on food. So we have to build out a food experience in Jamaica second to none. And the truth is that we do have the capacity for that. Jamaica's, what I call this confluence of ethnicity, this melange, this network of cultural groups that have come together to create this Jamaican mosaic that we call Out of Many One, offers a great opportunity for us to provide the most delectable cuisine that will satisfy the palate of every nation on earth, every class, every group. We have our food is a product of the Indians, of the Chinese, of the Africans, of the English, of the Assyrians, of all the nations of the world. So when you come to Jamaica, this is why our food is so delightful. So we can create festivals of all types. We can also build out restaurants. And as we speak about building out restaurants, we are just amending our customs duty act to ensure that the choice of cuts of meat and the requirements to drive the gastronomy industry, the inputs that are needed, will be able to be brought in at the lowest level of duty or duty-free. And this is an important move that is being made in order to incentivize the development of the gastronomy experience in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So that's one. So we can have investments in that. I'm inviting the diaspora to invest in food experiences across Jamaica, street food. I don't know if you know Irie of Stush in the Bush. Have you ever been to Stush in the Bush?
That's one of the best parish in Jamaica, Minister. That's in the best parish in Jamaica,
absolutely.
Sir. Right. Saint Anne, by the way. Saint Anne.
Have you ever had the pudding man? Pudding
Again, in the best parish in Jamaica, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the Jamaica jerk experiences and so.
Yes.
All of these are now on what we use. We're using technology to create connectivity and to enable the people of the world to be able to know about them, one, but more importantly, to be able to book, to have the experience when they arrive here. And now, because of that, we are able to have an all-inclusive package that includes the pudding man in Priory and Stush in the Bush and the culinary trails that we have leading into Blue Mountain. So what we're saying is that the diaspora has a great opportunity now to invest in various types of food application and cuisine. That's one. Secondly, the second reason people travel is for shopping. 67%, they say, of the world travels for shopping. And some of the big markets of the world, like China and so on, are driven by shopping. Jamaica is weak on shopping, very weak. And so, again, we're looking at some fiscal arrangements to incentivize shopping. We want to review the schedules of durable goods to include textiles and leather. So the big brands can start coming to Jamaica. And our Jamaicans who have experience in all of these areas can now come, and we can have big malls established in Jamaica. You can have something like what you have in Central Valley, big outlet malls that people travel from all across the Caribbean and elsewhere to shop in Jamaica and to go back and to sell in their respective areas. So shopping is a big area that we are now open for investment from the diaspora. The third area is entertainment and music, which you know so well, and cultural things. Our cultural industries are ready to take off, but we need capital. We need investment in the various areas of production and development of venues and stadia, for sports and different performing arts centers and so on. And these are very important areas for mega nightclubs that are not the ordinary nightclubs, because people are looking for what you call opinionated experiences. It's no longer just a regular night spot. It's a night spot with a difference. It has all sorts of new and exciting and technologically advanced gadgetry. So we're looking for investment in the area of entertainment, and music, and sports, and so on.
Okay.
And then you have health and wellness. This is another big area. People travel to go to get the fountain of youth, especially we baby boomers. We want to live forever. So we're traveling for spas and for all these wraps and oils and these nutraceuticals that Jamaica is so abounding in now because of this rich biodiversity that we have. So it's time for us to, the cannabis experience is something that's going to explore. And from that, medical marijuana, not recreational, medical. And there's so much to be done in that area. But beyond that, we have our own ordinary herbs and spices here that are so rich in nutraceutical value and also are very good for oils and for wraps and other kinds of paramedical applications. So here is a great opportunity for us to set up these small hotels too that are just dealing with health and wellness, which is another discussion that we need to have about how these hotels have to morph into these niches that are now very, very lucrative and valuable.
Right.
Special interest, for example, what we call special needs tourism, is a big area. People with autism, people with various types of disability that require specialized service and treatment. And some of our small hotels can go into that because these people, they get lost into the big hotels and so on, but they can feel that there is a familial connection here and that there is the warmth and friendliness and the hospitality and the care.
Right.
It's the most important, the care that they need. And they pay big money for it.
Without a doubt. Minister, Minister, we have a few. Okay, go ahead, sir.
The last one to say is education and knowledge. And you can go to town with the knowledge.
Right.
There are short courses that your universities can have that bring thousands of young people, like they do over in Dublin, for example.
Right, edu-tourism.
In the summer, exactly. So meetings, conventions, and all sorts of other such gatherings that will bring people in droves to Jamaica.
All right.
Our convention center, which we have established there, is now taking off. And we are beginning to get large meetings and conventions coming to Jamaica. So these are the 5 broad areas that drive people's interest and enable them to travel the world over and spend big money. Last year alone, Erwin, the world spent $1.7 trillion.
Largest industry. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And 1.4 billion of them traveled all over the world.
Right.
Jamaica only got 4.3. We have a lot of way to go to get the numbers that we want. So, diaspora, tourism is the new gold. It's the new oil for the Caribbean. And we have comparative and competitive advantage in that one area. Nobody does tourism better than the Caribbean.
And that is being said by the Global Minister of Tourism. Minister, we're just about out of time. There's a question that I really wanted you to speak on, but I just shared with you the concerns that we have in the diaspora for another moment to speak, sir. And that has to do with the preservation of the cockpit country, which is of major concerns to many. We have like 2 minutes, sir, so I don't know if you could just give us your opinion in 2 minutes. Because go ahead.
That the cockpit country is the home of the biodiversity of Jamaica. Our richness in flora and fauna is in the cockpit country, also the spine of the country. And so we as government are very careful about preservation and the sustainability of that in terms of maintaining Jamaica's ecological stability. So we are not going to be taking any steps that is going to endanger that. And I think I need that to be very clear with all our partners in the diaspora. That this government is very careful about that, and we will not sacrifice under any measure whatsoever, right? The sustainability of this beautiful land of Jamaica for any commercial and other types of gain.
All right, Minister Edmund Bartlett. Although you're not here, we appreciate you having you on our link this afternoon.
But I'll have a few more things to say in New York.
I know you will. And you need to stop by the studio so we can sit down and talk a lot more.
I'm going to be there for a couple of days.
All right, Minister, we're holding you accountable to that.
Yeah, no, we will, because we have established the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center.
All right.
This is a big area to look at global disruptions that disrupts the economies of small countries.
Small countries, without a doubt.
So we want to talk a bit about it when I come to
All right. See you soon, sir. I'll see you at the end of the week. All the best to you, Minister.
Bless you.
Sure. That was Minister Edmund Bartlett talking to us there. We're coming to you live from the S Hotel in Montego Bay, in fact, from the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard. And I just saw my good friend. I won't indicate what number I am on her totem pole, but she just stepped in. And so the next hour, we'll be joined by the new president of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Also, she's with an organization called I Love Mobe. Yeah, now, do you know Love Mobe? All right, a whole heap of organization she's with. She's going to tell us all about that, but a conversation we're looking forward to have right here on The Fact of the Matter. We're going to take a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll continue the dialogue right here on the Hip Strip. No, Jimmy Cliff Boulevard.
Something about you, girl, and I don't think it's just your smile. I don't know how to say it now. I've been thinking for a while. The best way to say it, woman, your energy is right, yeah. Before I hold you in my arms, I wanna hold you in my heart. Before we share our love up on that bed, I wanna place this crown up on your head, woman. Girl, you're my queen, majesty. Other feel I a grumble, but they're always trying your best. So when the whole world a crumble, your lion is alright. Before I hold you close, just before hold you close. Oh girl, I wanna let you know, woman, let you know that when all is done and all is said, all is done, all is said, you deserve that crown upon your head, woman. I said, Queen Majesty, don't you know?
Yeah, bounce it. Yeah, bounce it steady. Yeah, bounce it steady now. Ready, ready, ready now. If them ready, then me ready now. Anyway, hey, down in the ghetto when me born and raised. Life give me lemon and I made lemonade. And I swore to my friends if I make it I won't change. And the money coming steady now. Now I can fly, go to Paris just for the holidays.
Indeed. Not flying to Paris though, flying to Montego Bay. Because that's where we are. We are here in Montego Bay and we're coming to you live from the S Hotel on Jimmy Cliffs Boulevard here in Montego Bay, also known as the Hip Strip. Beautiful hotel, the S Hotel, 120 rooms. I like to call it the new Pegasus of Montego Bay, because that to me was something that Montego Bay was missing. And I think that this hotel has the potential for just that. Centrally located, has all the things attributable to the type of hotel that allows the persons to come in, have meetings, not necessarily being a guest here, but at the same token, to as a meeting place. I like to call it a welcomed meeting place, and I think Montego Bay now is on track, in the right direction, for more reasons than one, because recently Montego Bay had a new president in the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a person who I like to call her Miss Montego Bay. And I don't mean a beauty contest either, because if you should stick her at a pin, she will bleed Montego Bay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the Fact of the Matter, Janet Silvera.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Wow. I'm getting used to that name.
Madam President.
Yeah, and City Mama.
City Mama.
Yeah.
No, me like the
Ed
Madam.
Bartlett calls me City.
Mama.
Yes,
No, me
yes.
like the Madam President. the City Mama, they kind of.
Why not? Why not?
But congratulations.
Thank you.
We spoke last week while we were on telephone, and we now have the privilege. I have the privilege of speaking to you in person in your city, Montego Bay, for all of its challenges. It still continues to be a robust city. Talk to us.
In fact, the fastest growing gateway in the Caribbean. Yes.
When we go to Caribbean,
business-wise, everything-wise, BPO, that's business process outsourcing industry is doing well.
Yes.
The tourism industry is doing fantastic, really. So all the number of industries that keeps the city driving, they're doing exceptionally well.
Let me ask you this, and I wanted to start there. I was hoping to get a plug into the minister on this, and the average person on the street.
Yes.
Is he feeling that large? Is he feeling that prosperity from tourism? Talk to us about that. And when I say average, I think that's an oxymoron statement. But the Montegonians, Montegonians are really a part of this and feeling it.
Well, a large number are, but of course you know that there's also another. Too many people are not feeling it enough. In other words, that trickling effect that we have always spoken about over the years, there are many who are not feeling it. But I would say that there are a lot of things being done to ensure that those persons who are not benefiting from the industry will start to benefit. For instance, the pension plan that has been passed in Parliament is one of those things that will help the man who has been working in the industry for years to benefit from it when he decides to go home one day. Another area that I see that a lot of work is being put into is, for instance, in an area called Lilliput.
Yes.
Where they're having
on the outskirts
backyard farming.
Yes.
And that backyard farming is helping some of those people to sell their fresh produce to a hotel like Irie Star. In addition to that, I feel that the linkages, the section of the tourism, Ministry of Tourism, where they do linkages, where they pair persons who are making all sorts of products with purchasers in the industry. Those people are also benefiting. But of course, you're going to have persons that are not benefiting. And so in time, once we go with the trajectory that I'm seeing right now, I foresee that changes will come about. There's nothing that you can do as it relates to fair trade and marketing out there and companies coming in and having buses, for instance. There's hardly anything that you can do where that is concerned, more than to help your people to know how to market themselves. They have to use the internet, for instance. They can't sit down and depend on the hotels to give them business. And speaking about it, they have to be very creative. So once they are trained on how to make money, I feel that persons could make much more. I feel sorry, for instance, for the people in the craft markets.
Yes.
Because they are suffering. They are the ones who will tell you every day that the tourist comes off the ships and they don't see them. They don't leave the hotels and come to them. So those people are not feeling the impact of this industry that we say is flourishing.
How do you see adjustments? What are the adjustments required there? Because obviously the trend is, as you said, they come off the cruise line and they do X, Y, Z. There was a time back in the old days, people would walk through craft markets and stuff. Why aren't people walking through craft markets apart from them just
because it's all controlled now. If the tours are sold on the ships, so the people are already buying before they get here, and they're not buying tours for the craft market. They're not. And even if they come off as air-only passengers then, and they go outside and they take a taxi, those taxi operators are taking them to places where they're getting commission. So you find that if a craft merchant is unable to pay that kind of commission, they're not going to get most of that business. And it's the truth.
But the question is there a market for Jamaican craft?
Of course there's a market for Jamaican craft.
Okay, so how do we then, in your capacity then, it's a matter of how do we get that product?
Well, some of the hotels, for instance, allow the craft merchants to come into their properties and sell the products right there. Some evenings they have like a Jamaica night, and you find that some of the craft merchants are allowed. But I'm not sure how that is rotated and how many persons are benefiting. Some of them are also on the cruise ship ports, and those two are benefiting. But in everything, you have those who abuse the system, gets to go there more often than another man would get to go. And that is one of the issues that we're faced with.
So it's a matter of policing ourselves. The whole aspect of discipline comes right back around to this.
Right back on selfishness. Because if a man is selfish and is the head of the organization, or the person in charge of ensuring that this happens, they're probably going to look out for themselves first. Them say, pass some Christian picnic first. Yeah.
No, another vexing situation that especially had made the rounds in social media had to do with the entertainment in these hotels.
Right.
And of course, there are many entertainment companies here in Jamaica now providing these type of services. Have you noticed any changes there, Janet?
Yes,
I have. Talk to us about that.
I think that a number of those videos that they have done has helped. Those videos, some of them have helped them a lot. So I see where Show Jam, for instance, which is owned by a Jamaican company, I see them getting a lot more work than they were before. So I feel that they cannot sit down and allow this to happen. They have to be out there in your face, ensuring that the government knows what is happening, and that they're probably not going to take it as is anymore. That's the only way that they're going to help themselves.
No, in your capacity, of course, there's a myriad of things to cover, because the chain, you mentioned lots of things are happening, and of course it is all your responsibilities to your members, et al, the wider community.
Right.
In your stewardship, under your leadership, what are some of the critical areas that Janet will be concentrating on?
Policy is probably going to be the most important aspect.
And why is that so?
Because you can't run, for instance, a chamber without having those things in place and people have an understanding of what those policies are. You have to put in place things that will help the chamber to move forward. So those are some of the things I'm looking at. Small business, small and medium-sized enterprises are very, very important to us, and we'll be focusing a lot on those at our Mobe Expo, which is one of the largest trade shows in the Western region. We're hosting that in September 20 to 22nd, and we'll be showcasing about 100 businesses from Western Jamaica. And through that, we hope to ensure that people really know about what these companies have to offer. We are working along with the Chinese. We had about 15 new Chinese companies that have now become members of the Mobe Chamber of Commerce. And we're also going to try to showcase Montego Bay in a very positive light. Because as much as we may have our problems, we feel that if we are able to encourage people to think about Montego Bay in a positive way and to do positive for Montego Bay, that we can turn out to be a better city. So we're planning to do a video, for instance, on Montego Bay.
Because in essence, because it provides more opportunity for many of those who find themselves on the wrong side of things now.
All right, yes. So we were planning to do, for instance, a crime summit, and we changed the name from Crime Summit to an Empowerment Summit.
All right.
We're bringing in a speaker from the NYPD in New York, where we're He's a Jamaican by the name of King, and he has a very good reputation of helping to reduce crime in New York City. So we're trying to bring him in, and already we have sponsors who want to pay his airfare because everybody wants to come together and see the betterment of Montego Bay.
And I'm glad, I'm glad that folks in the diaspora are hearing what you said about that. Bringing in persons' expertise, that expertise is sourced in the diaspora.
Right.
Because, as you know, I've been one of those persons who believe that many of the things, the resources that Jamaica requires can be sourced from our community. And I think it bears well because it's a win-win situation.
It is.
So right away you get 100 brownie points there. So.
Thank you. And another thing we're looking at is affordable housing solutions. Because yet, though we are having a lot of construction, a lot of development, a lot of people can't afford these homes.
Right.
So one aspect of our Mobe Expo, we will have an area that will deal specifically with housing, but affordable housing solutions.
Great. Well, Janet Madden, radio is, someone have to pay for it. Fred Smith from Exquisite Tours over there is probably paying for the next segment, so we have to cut it here now.
I understand the fact that I've been given an opportunity to speak about my city, a city that I love and see that has great potential. Even though it's doing as well as it is doing, I know that there are areas that needs improvement. So we're here to ensure that happens.
Janice, Madam President, thank you very much for being
Thank you.
A guest of ours here on The Fact of the Matter.
Thank you.
And we just want to say congratulations to you, and rest assured, our platform is always available to you.
Thank you.
All the best, all the best. Again, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the S Hotel. We're not going to take a commercial break at this point. We're going to quickly speak to Fred Smith. He's sitting there, and Fred Smith, of course, I like to call him the real mayor of Montego Bay. The real mayor of Montego Bay. And he's going to step on join us for a few before we go to break. Amber back at studio. But Fred Smith, a Montegonian, I mean, you prick him with a pin too, he'll bleed Montego Bay. A true Jamaican, a person in the hospitality business for quite some time now. As an entrepreneur and businessman here in Montego Bay, how is the prosperity faring you, sir?
I think the prosperity is flowing. We just have to hold on to the train and allow it to continue to ride.
How does this filter now? Because it's an ongoing question I have. Filter to those who are aspiring to be and have not yet felt it. What should they be doing now, Fred? Or what is the hang up?
Let us put Montego Bay into perspective. I think, like somebody would say, we have enough here to ensure that everybody can have a good living. What we need to do is to clear the pathway. I think we need to continue to build on education for young people because they represent the future. And the more we invest in our young people, it's the more benefits there will be out there. Tourism is a driver for Montego Bay. But we should not just look at tourism in its own as the driver for the western part of the island, because there are many other things that are happening in Montego Bay. Like Janet alluded to, the BPO sector, that is really, really flowing. If you look at the construction industry, Western Jamaica is really, really booming. Land price, real estate has moved considerably from where it was based on what is happening. Everybody wants a piece of the rock, but more so everybody wants a piece of Western Jamaica for what we have to offer. So Montego Bay is really, really in its own. But when I speak, I want to speak of Jamaica more so than Montego Bay, because Jamaica is on a path, and if we continue to build on the path that we are on today, we can only achieve major, major, major. If you look into Kingston, you'll see the quantum of cranes going up. And wherever you have development and prosperity, as you call it, then the crane and the construction industry go with it. So if we are to follow from Kingston or from one end, from Port Antonio to Negril, and we look at the quantum of crane and construction that is going on, then you know that things are going on. But I still want to focus on education for young people, because I think that regardless what is happening, it is the young people that they are the ones that are going to take Jamaica to the next level. And we must invest or continue to invest in them in a very serious way.
And that is so important, because with all those positives that we have, the belly of the beast is an ugly picture. There are challenges which we have not yet managed to adjust. And the hope is that as we proceed to progress, as we continue to progress rather, that somehow we'll also recognize the inequalities that also seem to be happening as well, because you have the have-nots, and therein lies some of the challenges that the scourge, that is part of the scourge that seems to blemish Montego Bay and certain areas in our society.
And you will find the have-nots in any place. But what we need to ensure that the social worker comes up with a formula, how we are going to touch them, or we are going to reach them, or we are going to feel them. If we look at another scenario, Erwin, in the early days when the environmental people comes out, they would work with the children. And in working with the children, they would tell the kids in school, don't put the bag certain place, don't throw it through the car window and whatever. And the worst thing you could have is that you as a parent driving down the road and you put that bag through the window and the child gets upset with you. And if we are to use that formula in the have and the have not, then it would be easy to see that we must continue to educate the people. We must look and get the social workers in this community. We must identify what are the challenges that presents themselves along this pathway and come up with a solution. Because if we leave them behind, then the problem will always be with us. So it is important that we come up as a nation, as a people, with a formula to include these people. They cannot be left behind. It cannot be an extreme situation where one set is doing well and these people are left behind, because that represents a problem. So what it means is working with them and getting to have their situation dealt with.
Now, before we go, you are an entrepreneur, business person. What are your businesses here in Montego Bay?
Well, we're primarily into transportation. We do rent-a-car and airport transfers and sightseeing. So that's primarily me personally. But for me, Erwin, where my head is at today is for Jamaica. And all the services or businesses is for everyone to do well, regardless whether it is my business or not.
All right. Thank you very much, Fred Smith. It's always a privilege.
Not a problem.
All right, so the real mayor of Montego Bay.
No, continue to enjoy Jamaica.
Thank you much. You listen to The Fact of the Matter, heard every Sunday night from 8 to 9. Tonight we go extended to 10 o'clock. I want to thank Evening Praise for allowing us time in their hour. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we understand we have the elected mayor of Montego Bay will be joining us by telephone. Other issues are also taking place here in Montego Bay, which causes him not to be here. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Planet Irie.
Irie Jam, the ultimate reggae experience.
Parents, all parents, listen closely. Kids World is offering free childcare. Free childcare. The Kids World Early Childhood Center UPK program will provide free PK for all children turning 4, born in 2015, living in all 5 boroughs. Free for all children, regardless of income or living arrangements, and even if they're from another country. Space is limited. Call Kids World now. 718-528-9000. That's 718-528-9000. At Kids World, our curriculum nurtures the whole child and supports the child's social, emotional, and intellectual growth. Register now. 718-528-9000. Visit us at 12201 Guy Arburo Boulevard, Jamaica, Queens. 1 block from Baisley Boulevard, Rochdale Village. Walk-in registration available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call Kids World now. Free childcare. 718-528-9000. 718-528-9000.
This summer belongs to Sumfest, presented by Caribbean Airlines. Sumfest is loading for the summer at Catherine Hall, Montego Bay, with our music and our festival. Saturday, July 20, Festival Night 2. It's Destiny as Buju Banton returns to Sumfest stage. So let's rock away Saturday night with Barris Hammond, Protege, and Tana, Romaine Virgo, Christopher Martin, Dalton Harris, and Jana. Get your tickets in stores or online at reggaesumfest.com. Sponsored by Jamaica Tourist Board, Iberostar, Pepsi, Red Stripe, MasterCard, TVJ, Grace, Downtown Entertainment. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
The Jamaican Civic and Cultural Association of Rockland, JAMCAR, celebrates its 29th anniversary and Jamaica's 57th year of independence on Saturday, August 3 at the elegant Hilton Woodcliff Lake Hotel, 200 Tice Boulevard, Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. An Independence Gala Fair celebrating an evening of reggae music and culture under the distinguished patronage of the Jamaican Consulate. It's a formal affair. Tickets $165. Call 845-222-5973. 845-222-5973 or 917-562-6771. That's 917-562-6771. Come celebrate. Out of many one people with JAMCAR. See you there.
Hey family, word on the streets is that this year's Grace Jamaican Jerk Festival is the event everyone is rolling out to. Sunday, July 21st at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. Come feast on delicious Caribbean cuisine, enjoy the cultural vibe, and sizzle to the music of the Fireman Capleton. The big deal, Chris Martin.
I'm a big deal. Oh Lord, don't let me cheat on my girlfriend.
Dancehall diva Chelsea.
No matter where you try, you can never be me, never I.
Plus, Naomi Cowan, Blacka Ellis, Platinum Kids, and Bungie Garden and Fionn Lions.
I'm moving up here with me,
Oh, you for miss that? The Grace Jamaican Jerk Festival, Sunday, July 21st at Roy Wilkins Park. For details, visit jerkfestivalny.com.
Have you been injured on a construction site? If so, call Gregory Spector & Associates, 888-797-7735. The law office of Gregory Spector & Associates has recovered millions for construction, ladder, and scaffold accidents. If you've suffered a serious injury, you need serious injury attorneys. Let's get the money you deserve. Call Gregory Spector & Associates, your serious injury attorneys, serving the Caribbean community for years. 888-797-7735.
Hey world, Tad's Record proudly presents the Queen of Reggae, Marcia Griffiths.
What kind of world am I living in?
With her brand new album titled Timeless, featuring 15 treasured reggae tracks.
Anything you can do, I can do.
Including songs like I'm the Toughest,
I'm the toughest.
Love Me Forever,
Love me forever, and I'll be true.
My Guiding Star,
I know you're the one.
and the classic Scare Medley featuring Toots and the Maytals.
I never know.
Marcia Griffiths delivers Timeless, her brand new album from Tad's Record, available on all digital platforms worldwide. Tad's Record, the ultimate reggae experience.
I talk.
This is Irie Jazz.
93.5, the People's Program.
Welcome back to the Fact of the Matter. Master Control. Welcome back to the Fact of the Matter. We're coming to you live from the S Hotel on the Hip Strip, also known as Jimmy Cliff Boulevard. And we just want to thank all those who made it possible for us to be here today. Thank you, Caribbean Immigrant Services, Home Smart Realty. Call them for all your realty services, 718-341-9800. Caribbean Immigrant Services for all your immigration needs, 718-523-2861. I want to take a special shout out to Kaylee. Good evening, Kaylee. I know you're listening with somebody else. Yes. Good evening, Kaylee. And to all those who are listening to us now in Irie Jam world, and especially on the Irie Jam platform, Irie Jam 360. Just want to say that Montego Bay, we're focusing in on the hospitality side of Montego Bay. And ladies and gentlemen, by no means are we ignoring the fact that there are challenges in Montego Bay, and we have spoken on them before. We'll continue to do so. We wanted to give light on another perspective here in Montego Bay. I understand that we should have the mayor of Montego Bay online, Mr. Homer Davis, and we welcome him now to the fact of the matter. Mayor Davis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me welcome you to Jamaica.
You know, Mayor Davis, I came down here to see you. I was expecting the red carpet from you here at the S Hotel. I am disappointed you're not here, but I'm glad that you're calling in, sir.
I heard that one, Mr. Fred Smith, that rolled that carpet out.
I won't tell you what color he used, Mayor. But anyway, thanks.
Well, you know, I think he would have used the appropriate one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's leave it.
That is more environmentally friendly.
Let's leave it at that, sir. Mayor, thanks for the few moments. I know you're busy at an event, but I just want to say that Irie Jam Radio out of New York is here in your city, and we're talking Montego Bay this evening. What is it that you'd like to share with our listeners in the diaspora, sir?
Well, what I would like to share with your listeners is to say Montego Bay is open for business. Montego Bay is seeing more infrastructure and more economic development at this time, more than any other time in its history. I would like to say to our listeners in the tri-state that you are welcome to come to Jamaica and to Montego Bay, and to enjoy some of the most beautiful properties, to enjoy some of the most, great music that we have here. So Montego Bay is alive and well. I know there are some things that are being said about, what we are undergoing now, the state of public emergency. And quite a bit of the information is incorrect. And I can tell you from where I stand and from the interaction with the citizens, they are satisfied with the state of public emergency that is now in place. We are happy of the service that the security forces are giving to the people of St. James. And so we are prepared to continue to give them our support also. But Montego Bay is fine, doing very well. We are waiting the Reggae Sumfest, another week or so, where we will be seeing an influx of visitors into Montego Bay and locals alike. So the next week, we will have the greatest reggae show on earth, Reggae Sumfest. So that's what's happening in Montego Bay now. We under construction is a new beach park, and from 16.5 acres of land, the old dump-up beach. We have a brand new fire station under construction as we speak. Things are being fine-tuned for the Montego Bay bypass, as also the Long Hill bypass. So there are a number of things that are taking place at this time.
And this bodes well for employment. This bodes well for lifting those out of poverty to opportunity to create wealth.
Well, without a doubt, and that's the same comment Minister Chang was just making a while ago, that this government, led by Andrew Holness, has a commitment to the people of Jamaica to move from poverty to prosperity. And the numbers in the unemployment rate is trending down. The last figure we saw from satin was 8%, down from 11.5% 3 years ago. So something is happening, Aaron.
Great. Well, Mayor, we know you're on the trail. You're busy this evening, and you took time out to talk to us, if not briefly. We hope to see you at the end of the week, because, as you know, the major I like to call it the major reggae concert of the world takes place this weekend coming.
Next weekend coming.
Yes, next weekend, so Montego Bay again will be in the eyes of the world. Thank you very much, Mayor Homer Davis.
Exactly. All right.
And
okay.
I'll pick up the key.
Each other.
Yeah.
We can probably drink a red stripe together.
A flavored red stripe beer. Sorrel flavored red stripe beer.
Flavor. Okay.
All right. Take care.
Continue enjoying yourself.
Okay,
all
sir.
right, good, my friend.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
That was Mayor Homer Davis there talking to us. I know he's, ladies and gentlemen in the diaspora, people are still, I guess, on the trail, as they call it, doing what they have to do. Political season is probably in the air once again, but then, hey, that's the nature of the beast. Jamaica has managed to democratically changes its offices throughout the years, so I expect no difference. Coming to you live from the S Hotel here on the Hip Strip, Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, for those who may not know. And the S Hotel, of course, is the old Breeze's Hotel, and I remember back in the days, the last time I was here before it closed, Frankie Crocker was in town, and I remembered, him walking out of the lobby, because then you walk from the lobby right onto the beach, and somebody who's sitting beside me now will bear testimony to that, and we welcome him now to the fact of the matter. I'm in his town. He didn't invite me out to dinner yet, but I'm quite certain he'll do so before we leave Montego Bay. Welcome, Junior Taylor.
Thank you, Erwin. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
All right. Janet was just here now, and you're like, I understand that your number has
decreased.
Although
she was waiting for me in the lobby to escort me.
All right. But Montego Bay again, is a lot of things. Poised again for this upcoming again the largest reggae show in the world, I like to call it, right here in Montego Bay, for what it means for the city, for what it means for the nation, and for what it means for the culture. Talk to us about from the perspective of Montego Bay, the hub, you could almost say, of entertainment in the tourism capital throughout the region.
Certainly, Montego Bay has been home to the biggest entertainment events, not just music, but certainly the largest entertainment events regionally. The Air Jamaica to Jamaica Jazz and Blues, Reggae Sumfest, those two hold huge lights in the arena of entertainment. With the advent and inclusion of the Montego Bay Convention Center, we've found that a lot more activity has come to the second city. So there is a buzz.
When you look at, for example, even this hotel here, I've made the comment that how I view the S Hotel in its relationship to the Strip is that of what Pegasus does for New Kingston. It's like a meeting. It has a potential for it being an official meeting area.
Yes, and the truth is the team, Christopher Issa and his team, have really thought through what they've built, because it does have that feel where you want to come and for a casual business meeting, you come to the S Hotel, and he's gone as far as acquired the Usain Bolt Tracks and Records franchise, which is next door. So it's almost akin to a part of the S Hotel. So it augurs well for that whole melting pot and meeting spot.
What would you say when you look at the landscape and the emergence of Montego Bay? We see Montego Bay expanding on its outskirts, the widening of Montego Bay. From an entertainment perspective, and you being involved in the whole promotion of and understanding of the entertainment, what it means to Montego Bay, where's the vacuum? What is now required to add value?
A facility, an indoor facility that can hold, I would think, probably about 3,000 people. ideally, you want a theater, a proper musical theater that is acoustically and outfitted with first world technology. Last summer, I was on the road with Third World, and we were in Brampton, Ontario, at the Rose Theatre. And Kat had me take a video, a 360 video of the theatre that he sent on to Minister Grange, because it was something that's definitively needed in Jamaica. And even though he's a Kingstonian, he thought it would be more apt for it to be in Montego Bay. I know that the plans for Dump Up, which the mayor would have spoken about a while ago, include some sort of an amphitheater. But we're talking about an indoor venue where you can have concerts, plays.
And attract world brands.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
You know, we don't have that kind of facility. The convention center was not built for that. So it doesn't have it, and there is a lot of issues when you try to bring something of that level into the convention center in terms of feasibility. So I think that's really what is the most important thing missing.
No, we heard in the past about the indigenous entertainment from Jamaica, and Jamaicans who provide that kind of entertainment, especially in the hotel industry. We're getting some pushbacks, and I know here that there has been some changes, some improvement. Are you experiencing that as well? Are you of that?
There's an improvement, but it has a long way to go. I don't think that Jamaica should be showcasing Latin entertainment. The Tropicana-esque type entertainment that was being offered the other day, that's still being offered, really doesn't signify anything Jamaican, and I think that's really where we need to go back to. Yes, they may not be first world in how they look, but that is who we were. I mean, that is who we are. That is where we're coming from.
And in fact, people come here to see us.
See us.
Yeah.
Our culture, brand Jamaica, is the single most thing that we have of value. So why would we want to water it down or blend in something else that really doesn't help to expose brand Jamaica?
There's a talk that somehow we marginalize it, and others who have no inclination comes here, learn about it, and maximize on it.
And that speaks heavily of the Japanese. And I go back to days of touring in the 80s and the early 90s when, there was a Japan splash, which still goes on today. And they came here, embraced our culture, took it back, and they've added their own flavor to it. Some of the bigger reggae festivals in the world outside of Sumfest happen in Europe. So they've borrowed our culture and they've made it valuable to them. They've made it a commodity. We're still struggling to get to that point where we understand what it's truly worth in dollars and cents.
Jonah, I want you to say right there, because I understand that we've been joined now by, when it comes down to sports journalism and adding education to it, and adding Montego Bay to it, and adding Cornwall College to it. There's only one person that those titles in a mosaic would fit, and that's Paul Reed. Welcome, Paul Reed.
Thank you, my brother. How you doing? Hi, Junior. What on?
Hey, what happened, Pablo?
All right, I can't talk to myself on an own dime, all right? Right now. Next thing, how you doing? I am quite well, and broadcasting here from Montego Bay, indeed, an honor and privilege. Paul Reed. Welcome
to Montego Bay.
Thank you much, my friend. Paul Reed, Junior and I were having this dialogue just now. We spoke about the whole idea of the addition of entertainment facilities. And as you know, entertainment and sports is the largest business in the industry in the world. My question to you, Paul Reed, has Montego Bay, with all of its glories in tourism and edging towards on the entertainment side and with all the sports figures around, have we gotten it together yet as it relates to how we get those two together to build out this? It seems to be illusion or eluding sports tourism?
not in Montego Bay, no. We have a first world, well, I wouldn't say first world, we have a first class stadium that is falling apart. It was built, I think it was open in 2000. I don't remember exactly when, but it's falling apart now. The track, there's a world class track there that was laid in about 2001 or 2002 that has outlived its life now, and we thought it would have been changed by now. Somehow the government or whomever's in charge have not gotten around to paying any attention to this facility that can attract people to train out of season, have meets. As a matter of fact, the Milo Western Relays, which is the biggest meet outside of Kingston, might not be held next year.
Again?
Because if the track is well, it might not be held, period, because based on the things I'm hearing from the organizers, it's too difficult to move this meet somewhere else. They made an attempt in February. It worked, but it was not up to the standards. And I'm hearing that if the track is not fixed by February, the meet will not be held. And there's a ton of other meets. Western Champs, which is a major meet going up to the Easter Champs, will not be held here either. The Western Primary meet, a whole bunch of meets will not be held here. The mayor has been talking a lot. He's been doing some work, but it seems like this one is a little bit above his office.
But let me ask you this, Paul.
I heard him talking about expanding the facility to have a swimming pool, tennis courts, basketball. Cause he has a vision, the mayor.
Right.
Homer Davis. He has a vision. He says to make the Montego Bay Sports Complex into a multi-sports complex where they can host several events. Because right now it can only host two sports:
football and track.
Soccer and track. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But let me ask you, Paul, this type of negligence to do that portion of what is considered basic, for those who will then preach globally about sports tourism, their arguments are then empty.
Or maybe they don't understand what sports, what it means.
Right.
Probably don't understand what it means. It's a nice word to speak. It's a nice phrase to speak when you have meetings, but the actuality. We understand as well, there was talk of building a ice hockey rink somewhere in Moby as well. Overseas investors, we heard about that. We haven't seen that yet either. There have been a lot of talk and hot air and things, but the actual work has not started at all.
No. Let me share something with both you gentlemen. As you know, Paul, every year for the past 4 or so years now, Team Jamaica Bickle's home hotel in the Philadelphia area has been in the up there in Germantown area, Montgomery in Pennsylvania. And incidentally, when you look at the statistics, that county in the United States, in Philadelphia, is probably considered one of the more significant of presentations of what is called sports tourism. And yet they are landlocked. Right? When you look at the things that they have in comparison to Jamaica, it pales. But what they do is that they have created situations. All right, and every year they have meetings with us at Team.
Well.
Right.
There's marketing,
right?
You know,
and to give you an example, they have said, for example, that they're looking to see how they can work with Jamaica, for example, because they recognize the power of the brand, and it was so indicative. If you recall, a couple years ago when the NFL was having their draft in Philadelphia, for the first time, they came to the Penulays and they marketed themselves as Valley Forge, home of Team Jamaica. All right. Wow. No. What I am saying here is that when you look at what they have up there, Junior, they're talking about the gambling situation. They have their casinos. They have their entertainment. They're now getting ready to build an indoor-outdoor facility that will operate 365 days a year. That is probably will be the size of 2 football fields. All right, that's how they're building out their stuff. And again, I say to you that they tie it in with their hotels, they tie it in with their music concerts, they tie it in with their trails, all their restaurants. It's all integrated, and it's something that we should look at. Many times there's no real reason to recreate the wheel, Junior Taylor.
Without a doubt. I mean, I don't think that we all sit at the same table, and if we do, we certainly don't sit at it often enough, because there are far too many opportunities that pass. For the last 2 years, 2017 and 18, there's been a NCAA tournament held at the Convention Center.
Yeah, basketball.
Basketball, right.
Convention Center, yes.
Jamaica Classic. Huge potential, but I don't feel the buy-in of the players. I don't feel the buy-in.
Yes.
So those guys are struggling to keep it.
The minister was there last year. He turned up last year. He spent some time. So I remember I saw him there the last year.
And you're talking to Minister of Tourism?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
No. As we wrap here, when we look at these situations, it provides opportunities, huh? And I think that for those that's in the diaspora, we really need to who are potential investors, because these are situations that people elsewhere may have a better perspective on. And I think we have to find a platform, Paul and Junior. How do we collectively pool resources and make these things happen? Because let me tell you, the longer we sit here and allow this thing to wait, someone else is going to walk in and we're going to be spectators.
Yeah. I mean,
well, it has happened already. They have it next to us here. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that it's not somebody will. They have done it already.
There you go.
In other islands, they have people in other islands who are actively marketing their things every year. So the stadiums are fixed every year. They have basketball events that are large hours. So we are the ones who have to come and catch them back now.
Okay.
But I mean, even to go back to the same Jamaica Classic, it's an American whose idea has taken him almost a decade. But it's not our idea. It's an American who is taking advantage of what we have and still not getting the support.
Right. No, Paul, before we go, 2 minutes. As you know, on Tuesday, we're presenting some 20 defibrillators to schools here in the western section of Jamaica. 5 years ago, we started here in Montego. We were back in our 25th year. And share with us quickly, Paul, for the benefit of those listening right now, because we still need to go back and rally some more. Share with us the importance of these equipment to schools here in the western section, sir.
Absolutely important. At my school, we have one, and every game we have, basketball, football, track and field, every sporting event that we have, somebody who's trained in how to use it is at the court or at the field on the track with the equipment, just in case it is needed. Mercifully, thankfully, it has not been
needed.
Used.
Yes.
Needed. It hasn't been needed at all. But as they say, it's better to have it and have to put it into play than not have it at all and need it.
Yes. Well, Paul Reed, I want to say thanks much for participating with us here on
Anytime,
the Fact of the Matter, and keep on doing what you do, sir.
Anytime.
All the best.
All the best. Now.
Sure. Now, as we get ready to wrap here, Junior, so Sumfest is coming up, and started today. Give us a quick idea of what we can expect.
I mean, the Downtown Entertainment has put together a week-long calendar of events. It started this morning with a breakfast party called Morning Meds. Tomorrow is the free concert.
Please, by the way, just a clarification. Robert Clark and myself were not at that party this morning. I just want to have that disclaimer.
I thought I saw you.
No, it wasn't. I was on a flight. I don't know where Bobby was. Now I can throw him under the bus.
Oops.
Oops. Yes, go ahead, Junior.
Yeah, so tomorrow is the free concert street dance in the old hospital. Tuesday night, the all white at Pier 1. On Wednesday is the all black Blitz party at Hard Rock. Thursday night, they go back to Pier 1 on the outside this time for the sound system clash. And then Friday and Saturday nights are at the Catherine Hall Entertainment Complex.
Thank you very much, Junior. Of course, it's a busy week here in Montego Bay, and of course, it's good for business.
Yes, Montego Bay needs something of this kind at least 3 times a year.
All right.
Not necessarily music, but certainly some sort of an activity that drives hotel rooms to be full, people on the street,
As many say, heads in beds.
Heads in beds and on the road.
All right. Thank you very much, Junior. Looking forward.
Yeah, man.
All the best, sir.
All right, cool.
As we prepare to wrap here from the S Hotel, again, I want to say thanks to the management and staff here for their allowing us to be here. It is something that we're very grateful for. We need to develop these partnerships with organizations in the diaspora and organizations here, corporate organizations here in Jamaica. And of course, Irie Jam is a premier platform for showcasing Jamaica and the Caribbean. I also want to thank those who made it possible in studio. Amber, you can be with us all the time. Tell Jordan he's fired. And of course, the technical team here in Jamaica, what can we say? They made it happen. Whenever we have Robert Clark in-house, it tells you the seriousness of the situation, and he's here. We thank him. And also to Karen Shields for her work here tonight. And all the persons who made it possible from this side, our guests. Mayor Homer Davis, of course. We spoke with Fred Smith, Janet Silvera, Andrea Savigan, and of course those who are on air on telephone with us, including Minister Edmund Bartlett, who will be in town on August 10th for the gala there in Westchester County, where Kerry Washington is the honoree. It's a wrap for us here. On Tuesday, as I said, we'll be presenting some 20 defibrillators to schools here in Jamaica. And again, thanks to all the folks there in the diaspora who has made it happen. It could not happen without you, our supporters. In this year, Team Jamaica celebrates 25 years of services to our athletes, our ambassadors. We are committed to providing a minimum 25 defibrillators. This time around is 20, and we'll do some more before the year is out. Thank you, Jaja Foundation, for the inspiration for making that happen. And we also want to thank to our volunteers at Team Jamaica Bickle and sponsors and stakeholders as well. It's a wrap. And of course, the Moby connection. I don't know the Moby team. Nobody gives me all the information here. But I tell you this though, we have a fantastic core of folks here on the ground in Montego Bay, and you will see there you have witnessed their work for the past 2 hours. Want to thank them. If you need to hire some good people in Montego Bay, call Bobby Clark. All right, including a broker's fee, of course. But moving right along. Until next time. Catch us again right here on Irie Jam 360. It's the fact of the matter. Good night.